it's very, very, very difficult watching the soul contracts being played out right now in front of with soul family. On my level, yes, I am struggling. That's why I'm doing this topic. And others I've talked to, they wanted me to do this topic simply because they're really struggling. People are despairing over these relationships. And there's usually the one that runs away, and then there's the one that chases the relationship, and then the one that runs. Or sometimes they both chase each other, but then things fizzle out. I mean, this could be more of the twin flame thing, but still, when it comes to soul family, I once met a woman whose little boy was my son once. He recognized me. He called me Mom, and she got upset, and I said, "Oh, it's okay. He's just confused." And well, we do kind of look alike, and it's really, really difficult for a person that is bound to this matrix reality to understand that level of a soul contract. Just because that little boy isn't my son in this life doesn't mean I love him any less than my own children. He's just not my son in this life, and I understand. It's, these are very, very fine lines of wisdom, and we can't always apply the lesson the way we want to. And I think for many, many would say, lovers are the hardest to let go, and whether they were your husband and wife or a mate or just a lover, where there was an intimate level of security and compassion and kindness and between parties, where sometimes there is a sexual intimacy and sometimes there's just an intimacy level. Those are the ones that people are really struggling with right now when they meet them and they can't fulfill that type of contract that they once had with them. And it is difficult. I don't know how to tell you to get through it, because I don't know how to get through it. I'm still going through it, and I find it very, very heart-wrenching to witness the soul family squabbles, the soul families fighting, the soul families continuing age-old karmic battles, that this is our opportunity to end the battles now. This is our opportunity to stop fighting and shake hands and reap the rewards of knowledge and understanding, because we finally got the lessons. I, for one, am sick of it. I'm sick of fighting with people. I'm sick of fighting with my regular family. I certainly don't want to fight with my soul family. If you misunderstand me, oh well. If I misunderstand you, oh well. But I have no animosity or a mean bone in my body. Too many things get misunderstood in this line of work. So when we work with soul family connections, if you choose to look at it any differently than your own family, that is possibly where you're making the wrong, assumption here. Because in all honesty, if you treat them any different than your own family, you probably aren't going to fix what's broken. And I know my one friend was like, "Oh, you're part of my soul family," and one member wanted me in their life and hanging around, but the rest of the family disagreed. And so I walk away from a lot of people. I walk away from a lot of situations. Some are extremely hard, and it's so hard, in fact, that it knocks the wind out of your sails. And in one case, I was down and out for almost 5 years. And in this last case, I certainly hope that things resolve and become amicable. But if they don't, I don't want to learn. I don't want to spend the same amount of time I did suffering as I did last time. Soul family rejection is extremely difficult to deal with. But soul sovereignty is important when dealing with these types of relationships. So sovereignty, as I have explained, is creating a sovereign being inside of yourself, like a sovereign nation, and your sovereign body, your sovereign mind, your sovereign soul is not going to be affected by anyone's erroneous beliefs, whatever they may be, whether it's about you, your beliefs, whatever. They can't touch you. You just have to claim sovereignty. I am sovereign. But with that, it also means giving up the need to worship, giving up the need to feel important, giving up the need for your ego to run the show. And there's a lot that goes into the realm of sovereignty. But when dealing with soul family and sovereignty, it's, like I said, it's extremely important. The synchronicities are going to come. They're going to keep coming. The synchronicities that we're all experiencing now, they're just going to keep happening and happening and happening. You know, if you are in a situation with a soul family and things are extremely rough and you are like me and have the knowledge to fix things, please come and talk to me. I have, you know, I don't have all the answers, but I do have experience working with this. And I am finding that, you know, sometimes we have to kill people with kindness. Sometimes we have to swallow our pride. Other times that's not going to happen. Our egos will get the better of us, and we will be in a feeling or a position of, you know, wanting to explain ourselves. And that's a natural thing to do that. And I see so much excitement among the masses when people are like, oh yeah, I found my twin, or I found this person, and we've had lots of lifetimes together. They're just so familiar, and I'm drawn to them, and it's beautiful, but at the same time, it's like most people don't know the rest of it. They don't know what goes with it. They don't know what can happen. And all it takes is one misunderstanding, one slight misunderstanding or miscommunication, and it's like all those karmic kind of markers or posts, you know, in your past will pop up in a lot of things, and that's happening. It's all over. I mean, you can pretty much see it. You can see it on the children level with children. You can see it with adults happening. You can even see it somewhat with animals. And we are in this time, and to ignore what is so obvious is a shame. And we can't ignore what is in front of our face. We can't ignore these relationships. We can't ignore our soul contracts with the people that are not in our immediate environment. I worked on quite a few. Oh my gosh, this last year, I had soul contracts with a lot of people, and many of them have fallen off the wayside. They are not speaking to me anymore, but I did my best to fulfill my end of my soul contract bargain, and I also did my best to make things right, no matter what they think or thought at the time. I do not do anything that goes against free will. I do not do spells. I do not practice magic against anyone. I do not use my anger against people, though I will use it appropriately. I use my anger to create, do the arts, do music, writing, poetry, and when appropriate, I will defend myself. However, I have more compassion for my soul family. I mean, I have it for my real family, but my real family knows me. I have more compassion for the people who don't really know me. They only know me on a soul level. And I tell people, you know, no matter what has happened, if you know someone on a soul level, if you know someone on a soul level, then you have to trust to some degree the soul and not the mind that might be wandering or bantering or whatever. And you have to learn to discern, and learning to discern, like soul family relationships, like when to walk away, when it's okay to stay, and you know, I may not always give up so easy, but there's others who will give up a lot faster than I will. And a lot of people at the end of the day, they're just like, they probably think about people like me. Oh my God, would you just go away? Leave me alone. The fact is that, like I said, the majority of these people are wallowing in self-pity. They're waiting for answers. They're waiting for some miracle to like drop on their head. And the fact is, if you don't do the work, you're really not going to get anywhere. And I do the work. And I like to see others do their part. And when it's a one-sided situation, you just get a lot of kickback and a lot of struggle and strife. And I guess my final closing here on this is, don't go looking for soul family, because they'll find you. You'll find them. And when you know that it's your soul family, you know, they could have been a family you've been involved in another life. They could have been your parents, your you know, whatever relationship it is. Be kind. You know, the memories are maybe there, but the relationship is not the same now. And for many, we get stuck in the memories, and we get stuck in the pattern of remembering, and we have a hard time letting go. So make sure you do let go when the time is appropriate. To any soul family who might be listening, I hope that you find peace in your own soul family relationships. I hope that you understand me a little better, especially when people seek me out. I rarely ever seek anybody out for a very obvious reason. The people who are supposed to be in my life show up at my door, show up in my inbox, or email me, or I meet them on the street. Okay? I don't exactly make myself available. But when these situations happen, I become enthralled, I become active, I become an active supporter in helping the soul family, whether it's the conflict with me resolve or with conflicts within their own lives, or I will often act as a mirror image. And acting as a mirror image can be most difficult for those who have a lot of stuff going on. And if that is the case, realize that you need to go slow with this work. This is not something you should be, you know, if you don't know how to swim, you shouldn't dive into a deep pool. So my advice is, go slowly. Try not to let the soul family connections drive you insane. Let as much love into your heart as you can, so that you have enough to share with these people, because more often than not, they are at a different place than you. The connections will be there, the familiarity, and even in some cases the love is still there, but more often than not, these people are not ready to deal with soul family connections or soul contracts. So there's things you can do subtly and things you can do more profoundly. I've helped soul family. I've borrowed money. I've gone out of my way, like majorly, to help some soul family. One woman, she's really, really close to me, and I just constantly worry about her when I can't hear from her. And we're extremely connected, even though we have a very volatile relationship and friendship. I constantly worry about something happening to her. So yes, your soul family connections and your soul family relationships will be as profound as the family you are in right now. And you have to learn to love them and hope that they learn to love you. In unity, in truth.